Let's look at how we bring the helicopter into land. The height versus speed parameters is the same as discussed in the helicopter transitions video. There is a link in the description if you wanted to have a look at that height velocity diagram. So when coming into land from, let's say, 500 foot, we set up a descent profile of about 60 knots airspeed and 500 foot a minute rate of descent. And you get that by lowering your collective to roughly 15 inches of manifold pressure. And this is usually something students struggle with. They are not positive enough in lowering that collective. With the low collective setting, we will need right pedal to keep the helicopter balanced. From quite far out, I say to students to line the helicopter up with the landing zone. There's a tendency for right drift, so use your cyclic to keep the helicopter lined up. Another useful tip is to put the compass on the landing zone. Imagine the compass on the landing zone and fly it in. If the compass starts moving up, your speed is probably too low or your collective too high. If the compass starts moving down from your landing zone, your speed is probably too high and collective too low. From 100 foot above ground level to 50 foot above ground level, bring your speed back to about 50 knots. To prevent a climb, lower the collective first and then start applying aft cyclic to bring your speed back. At 15 foot above ground level, go to 40 knots. Then the last 15 foot coming into the hover is really important to keep your forward speed of about 30 knots until you get to 5 foot above ground level. When we are at hover height and we bring the speed back, start raising your collective gently before you lose translational lift. Now, translational lift usually happens between 12 and 20 knots forward airspeed. This is where pedal work is really important. Left pedal as you raise your collective. Also, keep the skids straight. If the helicopter starts yawing and a skid catches onto the ground, we could roll the chopper. Get into a stable hover before landing. Few things to look out for. If you are too high or too fast when coming closer to your landing zone, rather do a go around. If we hover too high above the ground, we can get into vortex ring state, which happens when our rate of descent is more than 300 foot a minute and our forward airspeed is less than we use 30 knots in a training environment. And if we are too fast and have to aggressively flare to bring our speed back, we can get into a tail rotor strike. Or if it's too fast, we can end up getting too close to the fence and the vegetation. We do a go around by raising your collective, forward cyclic, and fly over. Get a climb going, fly over your landing zone and try the landing again. And that's about it. Happy flying. Check out some of the other videos.